guys, it's Hunter, and I know it's been a little while, but I'm coming back with a very nice comeback video, kind of. The last video I filmed was back in February, and between then and now, a lot of things have just happened. I graduated college, kind of. I finished my college program. I got a promotion at work. Friendships have just kind of been ups and downs, and some have been really good and some have been a little stressful. So I've just been kind of dealing with certain things, I guess, and I kind of wanted to wait until after my birthday to film another video. Please bear with me, I know there's a weed whacker in the background. I'm just gonna keep talking because I don't want to keep stopping. My birthday was last Tuesday. I turned 20 years old. Ew. My review of being 20 so far is... it's kind of nice, honestly. I can't really think of any good perks, but it's just kind of been nice. In the span of February and now, and just my last 20 years of being alive, I've learned a lot of things. And I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time, but I wanted it to be, like, on a very special birthday, I think. I've had this idea for this video for a long time, and it's not original. Whoa, there's a lizard right there. This is not an original video, but it's definitely one I've been wanting to do. It's 20 things I learned in 20 years. I was gonna make it last year, but I kind of wanted to wait one more year just to have that even, like,
20.
You know what I mean? There's a bee. There's so many bugs. This is why I don't come outside. Anyway, so that's the shebang for today. I'm just gonna be listing off 20 things I've learned in 20 years. A few of them are just kind of personal things, aka things I learned about myself. And then other things / most of the other things are things that I've learned through experiences, I guess. But yeah, so I'm here to enlighten you and share my 20 years of wisdom with you. The first thing is that I found out that I really like 70s and 80s music. That's kind of a really low, like, yeah, it's just a type of music, but really enjoy it. It's definitely not outdated. Give it a shot. If you're tired of pop music, listen to a few generations back, even 60s. Like, it kind of just opens your eyes a little bit. Branch out to people. If you're too scared to come up to somebody because you're too scared of what they might think, or if you're worried they don't want to talk to you, just do it anyways. I mean, there's no harm in trying, and if they kind of like shake you off, at least you can read that about them. As long as you're good at reading body language, just go talk to somebody. And if they don't really feel like talking, or if they're kind of giving you that, like, I don't really feel like talking, then just move on. But if you want to talk to somebody, just go right up and talk to them. There's no biggie. It's not as deep as you would think it is. And trust me, I'm someone who also lives with anxiety. If that's what you're thinking about, don't even worry about it. This one I stand by so strongly. Being alone does not make you a loser. Being alone is fantastic. I take myself out on dates all the time. I love spending time with myself. If you don't spend time with yourself, what are you doing? I think more people need to learn how to be, not independent, but be capable of just spending a day with themselves, going out somewhere by themselves, going to a movie by themselves, going out to lunch by themselves. I do this, like, anytime I have a day off. I'll take myself out, I'll buy myself something, I'll hang out with myself. It's fun. It doesn't make you a loser to be alone. This next thing I'm about to tell you is crucial. Please listen to me if you want to save your dentures. I learned this one from my friend Jordan, actually. Carry those little toothpick, kind of tooth flossy picks in your car, and when you're at red lights, floss your teeth. Genius, I know. It is okay to like embarrassing things, or things that you deem embarrassing, or things that you might like that other people might give you a hard time for. The one that specifically hits for me is pop music. I really like One Direction, but I always thought I was like that mainly guys would think, like, okay. But honestly, don't be ashamed of what you like. If you like pop music, that's fine. I mean, most people like pop music whether they want to admit it or not. But it's okay to like things that you like, and you should never be embarrassed of things that you enjoy. And if someone gives you crap for it, then they're probably just really insecure with themselves. Learn not to take things too personally, especially criticism. I have a really hard time with this. I had to kind of learn not to take criticism so personally and more as help from others. There can be, like, bad criticism that's a personal attack on you, but just like criticism from others maybe, or like advice from others, try not to take it too personally. Even if it feels like they're attacking you, they're probably not. They probably just care about you and just kind of want to see you grow. So try not to give them a hard time, and don't be so hard on yourself, and just take in their criticism. Doesn't mean you have to follow it. It's just kind of to sit with you and someone else's perspective, and you get to decide if it's worth your time or not, or if you want to do it or not. This one's going into romance. Aww. When you find the right person, loving them should be easy, or love will just be easy. No matter what kind of the relationship, even if you have your rocky moments, like, it shouldn't be a difficult thing to love that person. And this kind of, I learned this fairly recently, and through a song by Rex Orange County called Loving is Easy. That kind of opened my eyes a lot, is that, like, when you find that right person, it's just, it should come easy. Like, you don't have to be feminine to attract men, or vice versa. You don't have to be masculine to attract women. This is 2018. There's so many people out there with different types of people and different kinds, and one of my biggest worries all the time was that I wasn't feminine enough to attract men, and that's something I've kind of lived with on my shoulders for some reason. Even though I present pretty feminine sometimes, I don't always act like it, and that was a big insecurity for a long time. But you have to realize that a lot of people are out there, and a lot of people have different tastes and different types, and again, kind of going back to my last point, like, it should be easy if you find the right person. So don't feel like you're too much of something for someone else. There's someone out there for you, and you don't have to be a certain way to attract somebody. I just want to put this out there right now. Sanitizer does work. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It does work, and it does kill germs. It doesn't wash your hands, but it does kill germs. Do not let experiences make your heart bitter, especially rejection or anything like that. If you have a big heart that's just full of love, let it burst. Like, don't let some scenario or situation make your heart grow smaller. If it's meant to kind of be big and burst and be, like, open to love, let it do that. Don't let your heart close off, because in the long run, that's just going to make things way more difficult down the line, and it's going to shut out so many people from your life. So if you have a big heart, just let it soar. Just love people, you know? Just don't let a bad experience stop you from caring about somebody else, or don't let someone make your heart shrivel a little bit. Love people, okay? Woo! Hating popular things. Listen, open your ears for this one. Hating popular things doesn't make you cool. Listen to what I'm saying. Do you want me to repeat it? Hating popular things doesn't make you cool, okay? This one gets my goat. This kind of goes back to the don't be afraid of liking embarrassing things. Drives me nuts when people put down the movies you like, the music you like, the TV things, anything that you like, they put it down because it's something popular, or, like, because everyone else likes it, or some stupid reason. It doesn't make you cool to like things that other people like, because odds are that person will like things that other people like, and they'll think they're some special being. Doesn't make you cool, just makes you kind of annoying. Really annoying, actually. No one is ever limited to just liking one thing or being just one kind of image. I have a lot of people who they're known for drawing or for doing makeup, or they're just kind of known for that thing, and people know them for that thing. But there's a lot of different components to people, and that's where you gotta kind of realize that someone is not just one thing that they do. Like, they might also really like cooking, or spending time with their family, or they could be the family person or the cooking person. Like, they're not just one thing that they like doesn't define who they are. You know what I mean? This one is for all my shy people out there, all my people who have too much anxiety to speak up for themselves. Don't let anyone walk all over you because you're too afraid to stand up for yourself. You are your own first priority. You come first in your mind. So if someone is taking advantage of you or making you think a certain way to a point where you feel like you're being attacked and you feel like you want to stand up for yourself but you're too afraid to speak out or something, don't be afraid, because you need to, because you're the only one standing up for yourself, basically. There's no one out there who's going to stand up for you. You have to be the one to speak out and say, hey, you're not allowed to talk to me like that, or you're not allowed to do that to me because I don't deserve it. It takes a while. It takes a lot of learning and a lot of experiences, I think, to build that, but that's how I learned it, and I learned that I had to start standing up for myself because no one else was going to do it. Just because you fall out of practice with something doesn't mean that it is not a part of you anymore. Even if you don't really do that thing as much as you'd like to, it doesn't mean that you're not still passionate about it. You might just not have the time or the motivation at the moment. It doesn't mean that it's not still a part of you. Or maybe you've kind of grown past it, but people still kind of know you as that person. It doesn't mean that you have don't care about that, or that's not something you still like. It just means that you have kind of put that on hold and maybe are finding new things to learn about or experiencing new things. And it's just like, I like to think of it as it's kind of up on the shelf right now, and we can always take it back down, but right now we're not really doing this right now. We're just going to put it on the shelf. Doesn't mean that it's not still ours. We can still take it down, but we're not really doing it right now. Does that make any sense? Hopefully. Hurt people hurt people. So people who are hurting tend to hurt others, and a lot of the times they're not really aware of it. And even though they may be hurting you to the point where you don't want to forgive them, it's better to kind of take a step back and kind of look at them and say, like, are they going through anything that might be like warping their thought process or making them say things they might not mean. I've had a few cases where people who may have been going through something have hurt me, and it's kind of a big lesson to learn that hurt people, and I don't know who said that, maybe Oprah did, but it's true. You don't owe anyone anything. That goes for literally any situation. This ties in with a lot of different cases. You can kind of probably use this in a lot of different scenarios. Just remember that you don't ever owe anyone anything, no matter what they do for you. If they buy you a bunch of things or treat you a certain way or whatever, that's their choice. They shouldn't ever make it seem like they're doing all those things and then you owe them something. Like, say someone buys you dinner and they expect to go home with you afterwards. You don't owe them that. You don't ever owe someone something for them doing a service to you, I guess. It's up to you if you would like to do something for them. It's never kind of, well, they did something for me, so now I have to do something for them. You don't ever owe anyone anything. This one's for all my teens out there, or anyone who is dabbling with other people. My next one is consent should never seem awkward, or make a situation awkward, or ruin a moment. It should never be like that. If two people are grown and mature enough to kind of act like things aren't a movie, like in movies you probably see things transition pretty well, or like kissing going to something else, you know what I mean? No one ever really shows consent, and consent should kind of never make a situation awkward. There should always kind of be communication while you're doing things of, is this okay? Can I do this? Can you do this? Stuff like that. You should kind of be talking through what you guys are doing, and it shouldn't ruin the moment. If you're mature enough, like, I usually just laugh it off maybe and then keep going or something like that. But I know, especially a lot of young girls who maybe are starting to experiment, experiment with guys especially. I've heard a lot where girls will feel bad because they'll maybe ask something in the middle of something and they'll stop with the guy, and the guy will get mad because they stopped or they made it awkward or something. They asked a question of, like, can I do this? And then the other person made it a big deal and stuff. So just don't ever feel like you're making a situation awkward or ruining something just because you're asking for approval or you're consenting for something to happen. Yeah, consent comes first. I don't care if it makes it awkward. I don't care if it ruins the moment. You need to kind of verbalize and communicate between each other of what is expected and what you want and what you don't like and what you like, and yeah. You are never too old for stuffed animals. I have so many stuffed animals. Every time I go to Walmart, I go through the stuffed animal section and I look at them all and decide, do I need another one today? They're just so nice, and pillows and blankets. You're never too old to have a million on your bed. I still do. You can't rely on other people's judgment to determine how you feel about a situation. You have to kind of build your own opinion and build your own thought process and judgment. You can't rely on someone else because they might kind of lead you the wrong way to benefit them, I guess. You have to really form your own opinions and thoughts and feelings about stuff, and you can't rely on other people's kind of ideas because they are not a perfect person. No one's perfect. So how do you know that their judgment is right? You can't, like, not to say that you can't trust them, but you can't rely on their judgment all the time, especially if it's a situation between just you guys, where if you're relying on their judgment to, like, relay what happened, it could come back and, like, make you think you did something wrong, I guess. And lastly, number 20 is you don't have to have everything figured out in your 20s. I see this all over Twitter, but people stress out so much about not being moved out at 19, 18, like, not having their life together at 20, like, still living with their parents at, like, they're in their early 20s. And what I have to say to that is just, you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to have your life, like, set right now. You can still, like, there's no shame in living with your parents. There's no shame in having, like, kind of a little part-time job right now. There's no shame in not having everything figured out school-wise or job-wise or life-wise. Like, you have the rest of your life. Don't rush yourself. You still have all of your 20s. You still have your 30s. You still have the rest of your life. So don't pressure yourself to have it all figured out at such a young age. Especially, I'm talking to you 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. You guys probably have the worst of it before, like, early 20s. Like, just focus on kind of figuring yourself out, getting yourself straight, schooling, anything that you need to do right now to help benefit your future. So don't stress about buying a house and buying a car and figuring out everything. You have the rest of your life. Don't stress it. That sums it up. Those are my 20 life lessons that I've learned in my 20 years of living. You're welcome. This list has been composed for quite some years. I've had it in my phone for quite a while, and I've just been adding to it over the last few years and last few months. I've kind of been crunching because I've, like, even though this is, like, 20 things I learned in 20 years, a lot of these things have been in, like, I've learned in the last, like, 3 years, I think. But yeah, that's about it. If you have anything that you have learned as well, or want to tell me, or anything that ties into what I talked about, like a story, leave it in the comments. Like, talk to me. I love talking to you guys. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you like any of my other videos, make sure to subscribe to me. It'll make me super, super happy. I'm gonna try and come back. I have a few ideas for videos, and the weather's getting a lot nicer. I'm going on a trip really soon, so I really want to start filming again. I know I say that every single time, but I truly mean it each time. It's just hard sometimes. But I promise I have a few videos in mind, and I'm going to start filming those soon. So I will see you guys, hopefully, next week with a new video. Alright, bye guys.